Good Friday afternoon. Thanks for joining us on KARE 11 News Now. I'm Chris Sarapsky. We are following several breaking stories this afternoon, starting with something happening right now in Elk River. Officials are searching the landfill there connected to the case of missing Columbia Heights teen Manny Collins. Officials say the Columbia Heights Police Department, Anoka County Sheriff's Office, the Minnesota BCA, and FBI are all on scene in Elk River and are helping in the search for Manny. Officials say they believe the teenager was taken against his will. He was last seen May 8th near University Avenue Northeast in Columbia Heights, and his mother says that she usually texts with him every single day. Anyone with information about where Manny might be is asked to call the Minnesota BCA. Breaking news at the state capitol. We have a deal, apparently. Governor Walz is announcing a special session set for Monday to pass a budget deal. In a statement, Walz says the bipartisan budget agreement makes reductions to state spending while also, what he says, making Minnesota the best state in the country to raise a child. Lawmakers will convene at the Capitol Monday morning at 9 a.m. for the special session. Walz said he would not call it unless a budget deal was agreed upon and they could pass it in a single day. Lawmakers have to pass the budget by July 1st to avoid a government shutdown. Developing right now, several people are in the hospital after a chemical spill at a poultry plant in Cold Spring. According to the Stearns County Sheriff's Office, the spill was contained inside the plant. We heard from a business across the street from Pilgrim's Pride who said they've seen several emergency vehicles at the plant today. The CentraCare Hospital in St. Cloud says they've received several patients from the incident and that none of them have what seem to be life-threatening injuries, which is good news. We do have a crew on the scene. They're gathering information as we speak. When we learn anything new, you'll be the first to know. This afternoon, we're on a verdict watch in the Derek Thompson murder trial. He is accused of causing the deaths of 5 women after allegedly running a red light and going 90 miles an hour and slamming into their car. Thompson faces third-degree murder charges. In order to convict him, the jury needs to unanimously decide that he was the driver of the SUV and that the Minneapolis crash was caused by him, and that he showed indifference to human life. In closing arguments, the prosecution reminded the jury how Thompson made several comments to police about wanting to get on with his Friday night. Prosecution says that's what, quote, indifference sounds like. Meantime, the defense argues they didn't prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Thompson was the driver and that no matter who was driving, the crime of murder was not committed. If the jury unanimously votes not guilty for murder, they could still convict on criminal vehicular homicide. New this afternoon, a meeting between President Trump's trade officials and their Chinese counterparts will happen within a week. That's according to White House advisor Peter Navarro. The president and Chinese leader Xi Jinping just spoke on the phone yesterday and, according to Trump, promised to continue talks on trade. Trump also promising an in-person meeting between he and Xi soon. Happening right now, President Trump is banning travel from several countries, directly impacting several of Minnesota's immigrant communities. This involves these 19 countries either restricted or partially restricted, very similar to the first ban that the president instilled in his first term. The president said the ban is necessary to preserve national security and prevent terrorism in U.S. cities. Some countries on the list, because it's hard for the U.S. to vet visitors from these places. Jessica Hart is hearing from leaders of local immigrant communities about the anxiety the ban's creating for them.
The heartbeat of a neighborhood is the people who fill it.
All kinds of people are part of this community, and it's just like a place of hope and joy.
Nazarene Sajadi is the executive director of the Afghan Cultural Society and has helped 1,000 Afghans resettle in Minnesota.
It's a really loving community.
She says around 3,000 Afghans call Minnesota home, but fears a new travel ban will cause the community more isolation. President Donald Trump banned citizens from a dozen countries from visiting, including Afghanistan and Somalia.
My heart just broke and I felt paralyzed, even though I knew it was coming.
Let's not forget, America, immigrant is the backbone for our community. the diverse, and that's the reason that we thrive in the rest of the global.
State Representative Samakab Hussein says Somali community members are constantly calling.
I got called last night, a gentleman who was crying. He was like, I have been waiting for my kids to reunite it for 9 years, and I have been going through the process. Now they granted the visa. Is this going to affect my kids?
I know there's a lot of young people that are here too who maybe were separated from one parent, who were really hoping to see their moms again after so many years.
Years of waiting, Nazarene fears will grow. She's still processing what this ban means, but will keep fighting for her community.
I think that if we can continue providing joy, that it'll give them hope.
Happening right now, a couple hundred Minnesotans are taking the next steps to grow, manufacture, and sell cannabis in this state. They were issued a first-of-its-kind business license through a lottery system yesterday. The Office of Cannabis Management live-streamed the first of several lotteries for cannabis licenses. A computer system selected the numbers. There were 776 applicants across 4 different categories: growers, manufacturers, retail, and mezzo-business licenses, which can do all 3. Just 249, so about a third were chosen, but that does not guarantee they'll get a license. And starting tonight, you'll see more police patrolling Boom Island Park in Minneapolis. This is in response to Sunday's deadly shooting there that killed a 23-year-old mother and injured 6 others. Extra patrols will be there between 8 p.m. and midnight. The park already put up mobile cameras in the parking lot there. One city council member wants the park board to do more, like close the parking lot early, among other things. All right, raise your hands if you've gotten a text this week saying that you're going to get sued or have your license taken away for an unpaid speeding ticket. While I can't see your hands, I'm sure several of you are throwing them up. For the second time this year, there is a scam, and it's targeting drivers alike. And as Ian Russell reports, the advice to avoid getting ripped off is very simple.
On the open road, there's a lot that can annoy us. From bad drivers to traffic, lots of things can get under your skin. Just ask Carrie Buckles.
Yeah, it's frustration.
Who's now dealing with a new headache.
We received about twice as many phone calls yesterday with people calling who were worried about whether or not this was really coming from DVS. We don't like the impact that it has on Minnesotans.
Text message scams are back, this time claiming to be from the Minnesota DMV.
And there is no such agency.
Frustrating for the Driver and Vehicle Services Deputy Director. Dangerous for others.
We have heard from some people that they have clicked the message or clicked the link in the message. Obviously very worried about what would happen.
These texts say you have an unpaid ticket and threaten that if you don't pay, your registration and driving privileges could be suspended and even your credit score could suffer.
An SMS text from someone trying to get you to pay any bill of any type, think cybercriminal first, is a legitimate second.
We've talked to cybersecurity expert Bryce Austin a lot over the past few months, especially about those E-ZPass text scams.
I think the number of people doing these kinds of scams a few years ago was far lower than it is now. So it feels like we're being targeted, especially for us.
Austin says these scammers are probably just plugging in every area code in the metro, trying to get anyone to respond.
It doesn't cost them enough to where they have to care, and they're more than happy to waste our time. Rural metro areas are being targeted more highly than more rural ones, but I think it's because there are more people that are likely to have a parking ticket in a major metro area.
There's a lot of things that can frustrate you on the open road. Don't let the obvious be the thing that gets you.
To try to help so that people don't fall victim to this fraud.
Ian Russell reporting there. Hey, heads up before you head out on the lakes this summer. A new rule is taking effect in just a few weeks for young boaters. Starting July 1st, the DNR will require anyone between the ages of 12 and 21 to have a permit to operate a boat or a personal watercraft like a jet ski. That'll expand to all boaters born after June 30th, 1987 in 3 years. To get a permit, you got to apply. You got to take a safety course. You got to pass an exam and pay a $35 fee. The DNR hopes those requirements will make the lakes safer by making sure everyone is well trained. A health alert now from the CDC. and it's about mosquitoes. Right now, the insects are out. You've seen them. They're everywhere, and they're hungry. And some of them are spreading potentially life-threatening diseases like West Nile, malaria, and Zika virus. We're not trying to freak you out here, but these are the stats. Scientists say mosquitoes kill around 700,000 people every year, and there's no way to tell if the ones around you or biting you are infected. That's why the scientists from Johns Hopkins Malaria Research Institute say it's important to protect yourself from all bites.
Wearing a personal insect repellent, an EPA-registered insect repellent, is important, as well as covering up when you're outdoors, particularly during times of day when mosquitoes like to bite, such as dusk.
They also say don't forget to use window screens, right? Just don't leave the window open. Remove standing water around your yard. That's like where they like to breed. Now, back in April, we spoke with the Metropolitan Mosquito Control District, and they told us to expect a massive surge of mosquitoes right around the 4th of July. They say 4 times more than last year. Stick with us. We got more news and weather coming up after the break.